Hey everyone, I'm the Rev, and in this video I want to achieve one of two things, unless I can achieve them both. Number one, I want to either give you a tip or two that might help you with the new GT3 tyre update going forward. Number two, I want to either make you faster or make you more comfortable with the car. That's all I want to do. Now, I still feel weird doing these types of videos because at the end of the day, I think, who am I? I'm just some northern bloke who decided to make a YouTube channel. I'm not an alien driver, but neither is the vast majority of my audience. Most people are on my skill level, so if I can help you, then that's happy days to me. You may watch Jardier, you may watch James Baldwin, you may watch Dave Cam. I can't do what they can do, and I can't replicate what they do. So the reason I decided to make this video was because I did a daily race on Le Mans Ultimate, and I won the race, and this was my reaction. So, pole position, took the win, didn't get fastest lap. Can't say I enjoyed that at all. That was 40 minutes of babysitting a car around a track. I didn't enjoy that. Now, regular viewers of the channel will know that's not me. That's not me at all. So I had to do something different. I had to change, and that's exactly what I did. I changed the way I drove.
You must unlearn what you have learned.
And hopefully, I'm going to explain what I did to you. So let's get in the Lexus, get it on track, and get on with it. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Now, if you're like me, then I'm going to assume that you're going to use the race weekend to practice offline for the races online, because you can't always get a practice server. Now, if you want it to be accurate to what it's like online, then you need to edit the preset. So in the practice, under the advanced options, we have practice starting grip. So we're going to set it to heavy practice starting grip because that reflects a practice session online. Now, also, you're going to have to go into the difficulty, and where it says tyre warmers, I'm going to set these to on. Because you used to be able to do it here, but for some reason now you can't. You have to physically go into the advanced options, into the difficulty, and set them on there. Now, I've chosen the Lexus because I think out of the two new cars released, the Lexus is the most difficult to drive. So in the car setup, we'll set the fuel, we'll set to 40% this time, just for this stint. And then in the powertrain, I'm going to leave the traction control settings as 7 for now. And in the wheels and brakes, and then I'm going to throw the brake balance all the way back virtually. I'm going to set it at 44 on the front. The reason being, I find the Lexus is really front heavy when you get on the brakes. So you hit the brakes, the weight's all thrown to the front, the rear becomes really light, unstable, and that's where I lose it. So that could be a skill issue on me. I can't stress enough that anything I tell you in this video is what works for me. I'm not saying it's gospel. So if people in the comments want to correct me, that's entirely up to them. But this is working for me, so I'm going to keep doing this for now. And the next tip before we go out is we're going in the car setup. We're going to go to the wheels and brakes, and we're going to make sure that these are set to new. And you're going to do that in between every session, because if you don't, you'll start the race on the tyres you qualified on. And trust me, just having those 3, 4, 5 laps taken out the tyre can make a massive difference in a 40-minute race. So always go in, check your tyres and set them to new. And that's the same for if you've span it on track in the practice maybe, and you head back to the pits, it will keep you on the tyres you span it on, and they're neither used or ornament now, so set them back to new. So as you can see, thanks to the tyre warmers, as we exit the pits, we've now got some tyre temperature. We haven't got any brake temperature, so we're not going to push until we've got some brake temperature. Now, an admission is, I was a slip angle abuser, without a shadow of a doubt. If I couldn't get the Mustang to turn in, if that nose would not come in, I'd rotate it on the rear. So I was massively a slip angle abuser, so I think the slip angle abusers are the ones that are probably going to have been affected the most by the tyre update. So that's definitely me. So there's no more being an abuser now. We've been to therapy. We're over it. We're going to drive normally, or we're going to drive differently. Let's put it that way. So coming now towards the end of this lap, we've got brake temperature. We've got tyre temperature. We're going to aim for a lap in this session in the 159s. That's all we're after. So that's not alien pace, but it's quick enough to be, well, it was like, I don't know, top 5, top 6 in split 1 yesterday. So straight away on the brakes. Now, because I've wound that brake balance back, there's more stability in the back of the car on the brakes. And the Lexus is quite a torquey animal, so you don't need to change down quite as much as you think. So I was going down to 2nd for that corner, and it's really fine in 3rd in the Lexus. But it's these types of corners where you're going to lose the rear the more. See the rear just go like there? Managed to catch it though this time, because it didn't snap just instantly, which it does with the brake balance wound all the way to the forward. All the way to the forward? That's not English. All the way forward. So the AI, they're in the 159s. But if you're going to lose this Lexus, it's going to be either when you're hard on the brakes or in the fast triple right-hander. That's my opinion. Now, you may see some track limit warnings in this stint because still learning the track and it's an absolute track limit nightmare. But to be fair, I think it's a good track to try and learn these cars on, because if you can get it here, you can get it anywhere. Now, this is where I think most of us are going to lose the rear of the Lexus. And all I'm trying to do is have no gap between braking and accelerating. And I'm just trying to make sure that the car feels balanced. Too wide there though, Rev. But I did say we were going to get track limit warnings. See the rear go light there? You can feel it step out, but it's just manageable now all of a sudden. And I couldn't push this car at all. I felt like I was babysitting it around the track. I'm now starting to be able to push on a little bit. There's a 159 already. So in fact, we're going to aim for a 158 then. Let's aim for a 158. But unfortunately, that stint was cut short as I got a phone call and I had to go and pick Rachel up. Now, when I came back and I started another stint, what became quickly apparent, well, not that quickly apparent as I'm about to start lap 10, but it became apparent that there's no way I was going to be able to do a 158 and talk at the same time. So we'll watch the lap and I'll voice it over. So we're late on the brakes, into turn 1, halfway between the 150 board, try and get the front wheels tucked onto that curb, use the front wheels as a hook on the curb to drag you round. Be careful on the throttle, don't get on it too early. Us slip angle abusers, we want to jump on that throttle because that's how we're used to rotating the car, and that just can't be done anymore. So we need to have that little bit of patience before we jump on the throttle. This is a slightly faster now right-hander, braking early into third, once again using the curb to drag the front end of the car in. This is the one where you've got to wait, throttle, and just by having that little bit of patience, the nose of the car complies. Hit the brakes down into second gear, trying to pick up the throttle early, making sure that there's no gap between brake and throttle. All the time I'm trying to make sure that I don't coast the car, because when I coast it, that's when it's mostly unsettled. Now I was a little bit late on the brakes there, so I've had to cut that back for a late apex. It's much better to hook the front end of the car onto the curb. This is another quick change of direction where you do have to wait just to get back onto the throttle. Then you're going to be on the brakes hard for the left-hander. Tuck it in early, get on the power, second gear, and the power and torque of this Lexus will drag you out. Now this is the part of the track where if you're going to lose the rear, it's going to be here. We're going to stay in fifth gear, once again aim for the curb, grab it with the front tyres, no gap at all between brake and throttle. Down to fourth for the last part. This is another corner where you just need a bit of patience before you hit the throttle. Now for the left-hander, we're going to stay in fourth gear, once again use all the curb, tuck the front of the car in, little bit of the gravel on the exit. But now we're getting ready to brake for the final corner, which we do, brake hard into second, rear squirms again a little bit, tuck it tight, get on the power. Now it's foot to the floor, let's see what the lap time is. We were aiming for a 1 minute 58, are we going to get in there? Yes we are, 158.624, I'll take that. But more importantly, I felt like I could push the car, which I didn't feel like that when I hadn't adjusted how I was driving. So to summarise, what had I changed? How was I driving differently? Well, the first thing was the brake balance. Obviously, I'd adjusted that so that I was massively braking on the rear of the car, not much on the front. There was also no gap between the throttle and the brake. I was trying my hardest not to coast the car. When I braked, trailed in, I'd try and get on the throttle as I was coming off the brake so the car wasn't coasting. Then there was the curbs. I used the curbs beforehand, but on this track especially, I was using the curbs to hook the front tyres and get those extra degrees of rotation. Those degrees that I'd lost by not being able to use the slip angle. The speed on the turning, I was managing that as well. If you take too much speed into a corner now, then remain on the brakes and straighten the wheel. I'd rather lose 5 seconds in that corner than 30 seconds by having to recover the car when I've span. You can't just throw it in anymore.
I turn now. Good luck, everybody else.
It's also worth noting that when you have span, your tyres are massively overheated and it does take 3/4 of a lap for those to cool down, so you can't just turn the car around and get straight back on the pace. You have to give those tyres a chance to cool down. Now the brake balance tips and the driving tips, they will vary from car to car. However, I tried these tips with the Lexus, with the Lambo and with the BMW, and I found an improvement with all three. So hopefully just by watching this video, watching my lap, one or two of you might have found something that helps you, which is all I was after. If you like what I do on the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button, as it does help me grow, and if you don't like it, then you can't win them all. As always, I've been the Reverend, thank you very much for watching.